In this video, I wanted to share some of my thoughts about the idea of YouTubers taking paid sponsorships, in what context it is perfectly an okay thing, and in what context it kind of like creates a distrust. So let's get into this. Would I take a paid sponsorship in the future? So I think there's a balance that I'm thinking about here. So now, first of all, if I was to take a paid sponsorship, I would only take a paid sponsorship in a couple of specific, if it met a couple of specific criteria. One is I would not want to be forced to change my feelings and thoughts about anything I'm saying. You know, if I was sponsored by somebody and they required me to only say positive things about them, you know, I am an optimistic person. I tend to express positive things, but I don't want to hide negative things. I feel like that is that's not a healthy thing to do. And so if a business was requiring me to only say the positive things about what they're doing and not share my full feelings about things, I just couldn't take that. I think in general, my thought would be I would need to be able to remain authentic, remain true, remain not biased by this sponsorship. I think that's really important. You know, once you get a sponsorship, I think there's a certain level of underlying subtle bias you're gonna have. But I would be trying my very best to fight through that bias and be like, hey, yo, if I have this sponsorship and they did something nefarious, I gotta call them out, even though they're my sponsor. You know, and I think I'd need to be willing to even lose the sponsorship if I came to realize that it was untrustworthy. I think that would be very necessary for me. I couldn't make myself be an advertising platform for some other company. It's just not right in my mind. You know, I'm trying to build a community of people, a community of people around my YouTube channel, and I feel I need to be able to tell people the authentic, honest truth. You know, I'm an optimistic person, but I also see the negative realities, and I can't hide those things. So, you know, I think it's really important that you know, when you're thinking about the possibility of having a paid sponsorship, that you're aware of that and don't let the bias affect your expression of things. Another thing that would be important to me is I would only take a paid sponsorship if it was something that I genuinely use and find value in and think the people who watch my channel would also find value in. You know, like I'm an affiliate, for example, with CardHedge. And the reason I am doing that is part of it is because I use CardHedge. You know, I have an account. I use it regularly. I mean, I make some videos with it here and there. I'm using it regularly. I have a long-term strategy with them. I like them. I like the founders of CardHedge. They're easy guys to respect, easy guys to communicate with. I like the product itself. I think it's a good deal for its price. I do not mind being an affiliate with them. It's not a paid sponsorship, it's an affiliate. So if somebody clicks my affiliate link, I get a certain kickback from CardHedge. So I'm perfectly okay doing that because I like the product, I use the product, you know, and I can share something in my community about my experiences with it, you know, so that anybody who does sign up for it, like I can share some of what I'm learning, some of my best practices with it, different features I use it for, so that, you know, it becomes useful for people who sign up, and my channel can also be useful. So, you know, something like that, it's an affiliate program, so it doesn't influence how I say or speak about anything. You know, I'm not gonna try to convince people to sign up for it, but I'm gonna show people how I'm using it, and if they like it, then they can use it too. I'm also an affiliate with Loop, and I like Loop. You know, I went in, I used Loop. You know, there's one particular, like I mentioned in a different video, there's one particular guy who sells single cards and slabs and stuff on Saturday morning, D's cards. That's the only one. I don't do breaks much, so I don't really participate in the other channels too much. I can go in and check them out sometime, but I like Loop. As far as a place to break, if I was to break, I like them. You know, I feel it's a little bit more level of trust. They're well established. I like the way the system is organized. I think the payment system and everything is smooth. It's, you know, there's no headache with it. I like Loop, so I don't mind talking about my experience with Loop and sharing an affiliate link. You know, I'm not a paid sponsor. They're not paying me for any video I would talk about them, but there is an affiliate link. But again, it's the same thing. I'm not pushing people to try to sign up for Loop. I'm sharing my experience and saying, hey, if you want to try it out or if you want to have an experience, here's my affiliate link. So those kind of things I think are no problem. They don't have to influence the way you talk about something, as long as you're purposefully doing that. I could see other people could go in and say, hey, I'm an affiliate for this. I'm going to just talk them up and not talk about the reality of it and just be an advertiser. I couldn't do that. I feel like, again, I'm an optimistic person. I tend to say the positive things about stuff. But if I wasn't being authentic in my expression, that would be a problem. And then I wouldn't even want to do affiliate stuff. So those are two examples. But again, I still have to like it. So, I'm really reflecting right now, for example, there's a possibility on Drip for me. I have a Drip account, and if I just like an affiliate program, if people sign up to Drip through my affiliate link, I get $15. They get $15 free as well. But I haven't made any videos about Drip yet, just because my experience on Drip is I don't necessarily like the platform. I went in, I've looked at different shops, I've explored. There's very little sports cards. There's a lot of random, like there's some Pokemon sections. There's a lot of different kinds of weird cards that I've never even heard of, that are different TCGs or different anime inspired or Funko Pops and a bunch of other stuff, like random stuff. The number of sports cards on that on that channel is very, very limited in what I've seen. And even the channels that I've gone into that do have sports card stuff, I don't really like what they have. It seems like it's a lot of retail products. It seems like it's cheap stuff. It's just breaks for stuff that I'm not that interested in. Like on Loop, when I look at the breaks, I'm like, okay, if I was doing a break, there's a number of different places here that I like what they have. I like the options. On Drip, I haven't really seen anything I like so far. So it's why I haven't really shared much about Drip, because I'll probably in this video, I'll probably put my affiliate link for Drip down there just in case somebody does want to try. I'm not giving them good advertisement right here because my experience hasn't been so positive so far. So, so that's another thing. So I have to be able to have a good experience of something to be able to talk about it and suggest it to people. So, since my experience at Drip is not very positive, I don't want to suggest it to people. Even though I could make $15 per person who signs up, I don't want to do that. So I feel like I have to be a user of it. Loop, I've used, I like. Card Hedge, I use all the time. I really like it. I don't mind sharing that and having an affiliate link. Drip, I don't like. I probably won't, unless I learn to like it, unless I have some experiences that change my mind, which is totally possible. It's not a terrible platform, but unless I have some experiences that change my mind, I probably won't do much with the affiliate program connected with them. So that's all. Those three are all related to affiliate programs. There's other affiliate programs out there as well. I've seen people who have vlogs for card shows, who will do kind of some affiliate marketing for what are those? The Zion cases, like the suitcases and backpacks and stuff like that. And again, if the person is a user of that and they like the product, I think affiliate marketing in that context is perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with that. They're sharing something that they use, that they like, and if they get some kickback from the company for that, I don't see any problem with that if it's not influencing the way they're sharing themselves, if they're not lying to themselves or lying to their audience about it and not trying to trick their audience into it. If it's genuine and real and it's something that they actually think is a benefit to them and could be a benefit to others, then if they can make a little bit of affiliate money from that kind of thing, I see nothing wrong with that at all. So that's all related to kind of affiliate marketing. There's also the side of just straight up paid sponsorships. Now, there's a few you could see, I've seen paid sponsorships of different channels that have paid sponsorships from SGC or from ComC or from other places like that. So again, my mindset is kind of similar. If the setup is such a way where the expectation is complete honesty, the expectation is being authentic. And if that's what the company who is sponsoring the channel is expecting and allowing, and they don't expect bias, then I would be okay with it. But my worry is a lot of people seem to let the bias sway them a little bit. So I think there's a balance that has to be had there. I like SGC, let's say, for example. They're fine. They're perfectly fine. I actually personally don't have a huge preference when it comes to the different grading companies. I feel like they're all basically offering the same thing. They all have their strengths and their weaknesses. Of course, PSA sells higher on the market, but I personally don't have a huge preference. I feel like I couldn't accept a sponsorship from any of them because I don't have a particular preference for any of them. I mean, maybe if I gained a particular preference, if I had some amazing experiences with Tag or something like that, maybe. If I had some amazing experiences with CSG or SGC, maybe. But probably not, because I think for me, when I'm approaching it, it's like thinking about sending in a card, I'm gonna look at all the different options, look at the different prices, look at the reality of those cards, and just make a decision. I don't have a particular preference for one or the other, and I don't want to create a situation that requires me to share a bias, just out of expectation because I'm sponsored. I don't like that idea. So if I did accept a sponsorship like that, I would need to be clear in my own mind that this is not going to affect the way that I say things. If I knew it was going to affect the way that I said things in a way that made me turn into an advertiser rather than an authentic sharer of my experiences and knowledge, then I wouldn't be able to accept that kind of paid sponsorship. Like I've thought before, one of the companies I would be willing to accept a paid sponsorship would be ComC. I mentioned that in a video before because I use ComC constantly. My most successful videos on this channel are often ComC related. I love the platform. I have a lot of respect for the founder. I have a lot of respect for how they're doing things. I really like them. I probably would be willing to accept a paid sponsorship from them and that if is a big if. I wouldn't just do it randomly. I would want to do it if there was certain expectations. I could share certain things, no problem. I could share my experiences, no problem. But I would also need them to know that I need to be willing to share my, if there's something that's going on the platform that I don't like or something I would really change, I need to be able to share that openly and honestly. The idea of taking a paid sponsorship that covers my mouth in some way or that requires me to change the way I share something, like I feel like I can't do that. It would feel like fingernails on a chalkboard. It would be very uncomfortable for me. When somebody else has a paid sponsorship, I feel like sometimes you can kind of get a sense of that. Like if this is an authentic thing, if this is something that they're continuing to share their reality, their actual thoughts about things, then I have no problem with that paid sponsorship. But sometimes you can be like, whoa, this is just an advertisement. Like he's not sharing his true feelings about something right now. And you can get a sense of that just by, you get to know some of the different YouTube channels and you can tell, if they're being authentic or not. So, so for me, I think it's very important. Like me being authentic to what I'm saying is much more important than making from a sponsorship deal. I would need to be very clear about that with any kind of sponsorship deal that ever came through. So I guess if I was to summarize this whole thing, like I'm not anti-paid sponsorships. I'm not anti-affiliate programs at all. I think there's this place for all of that. That's perfectly okay. I mean, I think somebody who's spending as much time as they're spending on making YouTube channels should have different ways to monetize their time and to monetize their efforts. I think that's perfectly okay. I think that's reasonable. But I think it has to be done in a way where the authenticity, the truthfulness, is still there and is not sacrificed. There's not room for bias to enter the equation. So I think that is really important for me, and that should be really important for anybody who's thinking about taking a paid sponsorship, especially in the realm of sports cards. I think this is true in any kind of like niche or any kind of affiliate marketing or anything that you might be thinking about doing. It has to be authentic. It can't be advertising for something that you think is garbage. But at the same time, in sports cards, I think it's extra important because sports cards is a space that is founded on the communication, the narratives that are created around certain cards, around certain products, around certain businesses. The narratives are extremely important. And if the narratives are being influenced by money, by people being paid to say certain things, I don't like that idea at all. So I think it's really important that when we're thinking about this kind of thing, we're making sure we don't become biased by paid sponsorships, and that the sponsor needs to be aware of that when they're trying to find paid sponsors. I do not want to find a sponsor that expects me to change what I would say about something. I would want to find a sponsor that would be okay with me criticizing them if I really truly had something. Again, I'm a constructive criticism type of person. I don't just spit shade to spit shade. It's not me. I wouldn't want to do that. Some people do. Some people spit shade at everything, even if there's nothing worth spitting at. But I'm not like that. I don't want to hide anything either. So I think that's very important about it. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope my rambling was fun for you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.